All right. My screen is a little dark and grainy. Maybe I should turn some lights on. I'm just going to grab a light. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to grab a light. I'll be right back. All right. I know this was unannounced, so I might not have anybody in the room, but I felt like doing a live video because I haven't done one in a while. Finishing off what I have left of a bottle of wine that I lost. I lost my bottle of wine. How does one lose a bottle of wine, you may ask? Well, I was finding a place to put my bottle of wine that was already opened when I was traveling because I didn't want it to fall and break. So I stashed it away. And then when I parked my trailer at the campground, come here, baby girl, come here. I couldn't remember where I put it. And I looked all over the camper and I couldn't find the bottle of wine. And then this morning or yesterday, I was doing my housework and cleaning up the camper, and under the sink when I went for the mopping cleaner, lo and behold, I found my bottle of wine. So tonight I am finishing my bottle of wine. So I'm in my son's yard right now, and I had a bunch of cardboard to burn. And I said, Trev, can you watch the fire for a minute while I go pour myself a glass of wine? And he said, famous last words. He said, Mom, is it safe to drink wine when you're having a fire? And I'm like, always. So, because I always drink wine and sit next to a fire. And like, this is honestly my first glass. I'm still on my first glass. I'm nursing this wine because I was busy putting cardboard on the fire. My son just moved into the house. And so we have all this cardboard that wouldn't fit in the cardboard recycle. So we had this abundance of cardboard. So we had this pile of cardboard that was perhaps too close to the fire pit. So I was like ripping oh, that's a Band-Aid because I was using a box cutter too. It's been a very difficult day for me. Lots of accidents today. So I was ripping the cardboard because the box cutter situation wasn't working out for me. So I was ripping the cardboard and curling it up and putting it in the fire so it would burn a little more slowly. And I'd roll up some cardboard, make some cardboard rolls, and then put a piece of wood on to kind of flatten it down so it wouldn't like wisp away in the breezes. And next to the fire, a piece of cardboard was laying there, and I noticed a burn circle. And I was like, it looked almost like someone put a hot pan on the cardboard and it made a burn ring. I didn't see any fire. And I took a picture of it because it was like this perfect circle. And I was thinking, like, I don't remember putting something circular on that cardboard. Why is there a burn circle? And then it hit me that, and I made a video to send my sister. I was like, a coal or something must have flew out from the fire and landed on the cardboard and burned a little hole in the cardboard, and it must have just like smoldered and spread to make this circle. But it didn't appear to be getting any bigger, and I didn't see any flames. So I stopped taking the video and I just sat down and continued to drink my wine next to the fire. And next thing I know, I see fire coming out of this cardboard burn circle. And then I was like, oh my God. So what do you do? Well, as a photojournalist, you have to take a video of it, of course. So I opened up my phone and video and took a quick video and said, oh my God, look what happened. And then I realized, crap, I better get the hose. But the first thing I did was, well, the second thing I did was I better flip the cardboard over so it depletes the oxygen source and puts it out. But no, that's not what happened. I turned the cardboard over and the cardboard was very hot, and the hot smoke kind of hurt my hand, and I let go of it. And guess what happened? The whole cardboard kind of caught fire. So I was like, crap. And I ran and got the hose, turned the water on, hoping, it's been cold here in New Jersey. And I was like, geez, I hope it's not like froze. I hope the hose is hooked to the faucet, because I don't got time to like hook the hose to the faucet because that's burning. And so I turned the hose on. I heard the water. I saw the water come out of the hose. I grabbed the hose. I pull it around the house. It's not going to reach. Tug it as hard as I can. It's not going to reach. So I bang on the door. The door's locked. I bang on the window. Trev, we got a fire. Get a pan, get a pan. You know, I forget that there's fire extinguishers in the house and fire extinguishers in the camper. So I quick looked. There's a flower pot. So I tried to fill the flower pot up with water. I'm talking about a fire I just had in my yard. So I filled a little flower pot with water. I tried to put my hand on the hose to make the water squirt further to put out the fire, and it wouldn't reach. So I fill up this little flower pot and then run over, pour it. Trevor's still not coming out. So I bang on the window. Trevor! He's like, what? I said, I got a fire. Get a pan, get a pan. And so he comes out without the pan. He's like, what's wrong? I said, the pile of cardboard's on fire. So he comes out with this little inky dinky pan, and I fill it up with water. And then I realize I have a 5-gallon bucket that's on the patio. And I say, get the bucket, get the bucket, get the bucket. And then now we realize another part of the cardboard pile is smoldering and smoke is coming up, and he's trying to stomp it out. I said, give me the 5-gallon bucket, get the blue bucket, get the blue bucket. Now this blue bucket has been flipped over to be a base of a table that I made, and it has sea glass glued to it. So I don't think he realized that it was a bucket. So I'm yelling at him to get the blue bucket, and I don't think he knows what I'm talking about. I have these dings going off because I've been trying to do some user testing. And so anyway, he grabs the bucket, we fill it up with water, and we still don't think to move the cardboard away from the fire. So he pours a little bit of water on it, and I'm just like, and then I'm trying to reach the water again because he moved the cardboard away, and it's still like it won't stop smoldering. No matter how much water we put on, there was still smoke coming up. And it was just very stressful. And he's like, you shouldn't have had wine. And I said, Trev, look at the glass. Honestly, I've had 2 sips of that wine. Like, it wasn't the wine's fault that I started a fire in the front yard. And it was just silly and stressful. So now I'm drinking my wine. The fire's out. My first campfire of the year. And I started a fire in the front yard. Thank God, with all the smoke, none of the neighbors called the fire department. Because I think we can have a fire pit, but it's supposed to be covered. And because I had so much cardboard to burn from my son moving in the house, I didn't have the grates on it. I was kind of trying to watch it and put cardboard in and then cover it with wood to keep it down. But I guess the moral of the story is, don't have a big pile of dry cardboard next to your campfire. And if you see that you have a perfect circle of ashed cardboard next to your campfire, don't take a video of it. put some water on it, because even if you don't see flames, it's on fire. You don't have to see flames for something to be on fire. And the first wind breeze that hits that, it's going up. And I guess the third moral of the story is to have your hose ready. And the fourth moral of the story is don't forget that you have fire extinguishers. Like, I told him to get a pan so we could fill it with water. And I completely forgot that we have fire extinguishers. And you know what? I don't even think I know how one works. It's probably worth it to buy one that's small and just have a drill and try to use it and see what you do. Pull the pin out, know what it's like to make it work, or watch a video on how to use one. I bet you can find it on YouTube. Look at my kitty. So I went to the cardiologist today. I know I wasn't going to talk about health issues. Hey, can anyone chat with me? I'll type hi. I went to the cardiologist today, and I know I was going to keep this channel free of health issues and depression and all that, but it's too much for me to handle 2 YouTube channels. So I don't mind talking about my health issues here, because I'm really not going to get sad about my health issues anymore. It's just what it is. And it's just more reason for I'm doing what I'm doing. So, hi, Alexander Burr. So I went to the cardiologist today, and he's putting me on permanent disability. So he filled out a form, and I'm going to my neurologist on Monday, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be doing the same. So the cardiologist, the TEE, the test he did to look at my heart, he asked if I was still getting out of breath because my valve is working okay. He said there's nothing wrong with the valve. And I said, well, you know, I took my daughter, I took her to a water park this past weekend, and you had to go up like 3 flights of stairs for this indoor water park. And each flight, I was only carrying an inner tube. It wasn't heavy. But each flight, I had to stop and rest before continuing, because even though it was only like 10 steps, I was completely out of breath. My heart was racing, and I had to stop and rest before I could do another flight of stairs. And I shouldn't have that issue. Like, my heart's fixed. Why am I having that issue? And it's not just breathing. It's like my heart is like racing, like I just ran a race. It's unbelievable. And he said, well, sometimes when you have heart surgeries, if they aren't caught quick enough, you could have heart damage that you don't get back. So it could have damaged your heart, and you're not going to get that back. It'll keep it from getting worse, but you're not going to be like you're 19 again, you know? So, let me just close this because I have another window open. I've been doing user testing for extra money for groceries and stuff. Because I'm out of work. I haven't needed to apply for food stamps or anything. And I'm trying to not do that. I'm being very careful with not spending money and not driving and using gas, and just very frugal. And this, I'm not buying wine. This is like leftover wine. So I'm just spending money on what I need and just being very careful about what I'm spending money on. And I'm excited about Memorial Weekend. I'm in my son's yard, and I'll be here for the week around Memorial Weekend, because 1, he's having a baby, and I'm going to be a grandma around that time. And 2, there's a big park at the end of the road, and there's a lot of traffic Memorial Weekend. So I thought I would do a yard sale and I'll put all my artwork and all like clothing I've made and blankets I've made and artwork I've made, and try to sell as much as I can to clear out the garage here and to have less stuff so I don't have to take as much on the road with me. So I think that'll be, and it'll give me money to go on the road with. So I think that'll be a fun thing to do. And I think I'll advertise here in the community that I'm in to do that. So my kitty's purring. She's very happy. She's been clawing up my dinette cushions. So I ordered some double-sided tape because I couldn't find any. Except for thin Scotch tape kind, I couldn't find any. So I ordered some on Amazon that I should have tomorrow. And I heard if you just put that down where the cat's clawing. Yeah, about the art, Shelby. Oh, that just reminded me. I have 2 crab prints I have to send out to people. I completely forgot. My mind is going, people. It's completely going. I got fabric to make curtains, so I'm going to make some cute curtains for my camper. It's turquoise with white circles, and I'll probably make those over the weekend. I love this cat. I love this cat. Do you guys, anyone in the room, have kitty cats? I haven't worked back into my drawing because I've been having dizziness and double vision, and I've had a hard time focusing on things. The dizziness might be, my blood might be too thin right now. I'm on blood thinners, and I have to test my blood every so often, because based on what that test reads, I have to change my Coumadin dose. So right now my blood is a little too thin, and that might be making me dizzy. And it's hard to draw when you're dizzy and seeing double. So I'll see if I should be able to measure and cut and sew. My son's girlfriend made some meatloaf and potatoes, so when they're ready to eat, I'm going to be going inside and having a good dinner tonight. Isn't my kitty cute, everybody? Mrs. Cat Jones. Do any of you guys have pets? Anybody have some good ideas for cats not scratching? I don't know if she'll let me cut her claws, and I'm wondering, does cutting cats' claws make them not scratch? Like, do they scratch to wear down their claws, or do they do that just because they want to? I don't know. I got a tiny little clothes washing machine for my camper. And right now it's on the bathroom floor because her litter box is on the shower floor. On top of her litter box, I got a camping table, dual purpose. Ready for this? It goes over her litter box. And on top of it, I have a plastic set of drawers with my clothing. And when I want to take a shower, I could just take that out and put it on the trailer floor in the living area. And then when I'm done showering, I put it back in. But also I can use the camper table outside, like when I'm set up at a camp. And so since I have a double sink in the, because I have a double sink in the kitchen and I don't use the sink that's in the bathroom. Yeah, I got some double-sided tape, and I also thought putting some Velcro. She tends to claw the side wall of the benches. Couldn't sit on, but the side wall. So I thought about Velcroing on some corrugated cardboard. You know, the cat scratcher corrugated cardboard? Also, I got area rugs, like the runners that or bath mat rugs. She loves to claw those on the trailer floor. So when I leave her alone, if I'm out, I'll lay those down on the bench and curve it over the side. And it's perfect. When I'm in the camper, the second I hear her doing it, I just smack the seat and it scares her away. But I thought about maybe I could Velcro on some cardboard. So she'll just claw the cardboard. I don't know. The double-sided tape, they're supposed to like, the cats touch it and then they're like, ew, I don't like how this feels. And so after a few times, they just won't go after it. But I'm thinking, if I do that, are my legs gonna stick to it? Shelby, do you cut your cat's claws, and does that make them stop? Like, what is the purpose of cutting cat claws? Because I think when you cut the cat's claws, because I just saw a video of someone that had kittens and cut the claws and they still needed. What's everybody having for dinner tonight? I'm having meatloaf and potatoes. Not declawing them. I'm talking about just trimming their claws. Do you think just trimming their claws is cruel too? I never did, just because she's feral and I don't think she'd let me. I've been trying to pet her claws, her paws, just to get her used to me touching them because I've been thinking about doing it. And I'm trying to like, I try to like push them out and she's not even having it. She's not even having it. Right now she's smacking her tail like she's done with me even touching her right now. So if there's new people in the room, my cardiologist filled out a form today for Social Security to put me on permanent disability. He's filling out the form, but that doesn't mean that Social Security will approve it. So I'm waiting for Social Security to approve it before quitting my job. Oh, see, Mrs. Cat Jones is an indoor cat. Ever since I rescued her, she's afraid of going out. Like when I open the camper door, she runs away from the door and hides. Like she does not want to be anywhere near outside. When I was hold on, I got to close one of these windows. When I was hold on, I can't think about two things at once. I can't multitask anymore. Isn't that horrible? When I was what was I talking about, Shelby? Oh, I made a video when I was traveling and she got out in a Walmart parking lot. Her crate, I felt so bad. I was moving, she was in her crate in the truck, and I was getting out of the truck with her and going into the camper to sleep, and the door on her crate was open. And the weight of her body, it fell forward, the door opened, and she jumped out. And she got scared and ran under the camper. And then she ran onto the grass. And it was like 4 in the morning. It was pitch black out. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't even care about my safety. I just didn't want her to get lost in the wild and not be able to take care of herself. Or get hit by a car or something. Because she won't wear a collar. I tried to collar her and get a tag on her. and she pulls the collar off overnight. So I was able to call her and she came back to me. And I was surprised, but I could see the fear. Like she was on the grass in the dark crying. And I'm like, come here, Mrs. Cat. Come here, Mrs. Cat. It's okay. And she slowly, walked back over to me, but she did not feel safe outside. So I don't think she's going to be climbing trees to wear down her claws. I have 2 posts on my dining table, and I want to cover those in carpet so she'll have those to claw, and I'm sure she'll enjoy clawing those. I'll get to that this weekend. That's something I gotta do for sure. And I already have carpet, so I'll do that. I'll just circle around it and fasten it with some zip ties. So where is everybody and what's the temperature? I'm in New Jersey and we had 60 degrees today. It was nice out. It was very nice out. I want to de-winterize my camper, but it's this week, even though it's 50s and 60s, it said it was going to get down in the 20s a couple nights, not during the day. I was freaking out when you told that story last week. Don't let Social Security jerk you around. Sounds like you have doctors that are going to help. Yeah, my cardiologist is the sweetest, most compassionate, listening, kind man. Shelby, I'm so jealous. I got to go back down to South Carolina. I was down there a couple weeks ago. Did you see my Savannah video with the guy in the wheelchair? Were you the one that said they were bawling, crying, emotional about that? Ghosts everywhere. My mommy. I'm going to a couple other Thousand Trails system parks, one in the beginning of April and one in the beginning of May. And then in between those 2 visits, 2 weeks at each one. And then in between, I'm coming back here to my son's yard and having that yard sale. And I might sell a few things too that I don't need. Because I'm just storing things in the garage, and the garage gets pretty humid. And my ex-husband was storing some things in my garage, and because it gets humid, some of the wood got mold on it. So anything wood that I'm storing, I think I'm just going to sell at a yard sale and try to get money. And then if I ever get a house again, I'll just rebuy stuff. No sense in storing it. The next house I'm going to get, if I even get another house, won't be probably until I'm 55 and if I live that long, and I get a retirement community house. I'm 47 now. Look at my baby kitty. Do you still have your cat, Shelby? Do you just have one cat? The person I've been speaking to at Social Security has been very helpful. He's been very helpful. They sent me a form. They wanted to know, they gave me 3 packets for witnesses to fill out of people that witnessed my seizures. So I called the guy and I'm like, I don't have the kind of unconscious convulsing seizures that people see. I just have like double vision and dizziness and concentration issues. So people aren't seeing it. I said, and I don't live with people and I'm out of work. So there's really nobody that's witnessing anything. I said, but I do have my EEG hospital studies and stays with my diagnosis and the EEG reports that say I'm having seizures. Like, can I give you those? Because I don't know what to do. And the guy at Social Security said, yes, that should be sufficient. So today I got in the mail another form, just one simple page for the doctor to fill out. And I gave one copy to my cardiologist and one copy I'm giving to my neurologist on Monday. I love that she is a lap kitty. This has been so therapeutic. It just gives me warm fuzzies. It really does. I'm excited about making the curtains because it's cheaper than buying curtains, and I'm going to feel so proud and productive doing them myself. This is the fabric, and it was on a clearance rack. And when I picked it out, I was like, oh, I hope it doesn't look too much like Cheerios because it's about that size. But they're not symmetrical. They're kind of organic. Well, I guess Cheerios aren't exactly symmetrical, are they? I don't know. I thought it was retro-y. And then I got this fabric, which it's kind of like, it's almost sheer, and with the sun going through it. Let me see. With the sun going through it, it just reminded me of like a go-go dancer outfit or a backdrop, like on Laughing or something. Am I showing my age? So I thought this on each side of the window. So here's my window. You ready? Here's my window. And then this in between. Can you picture it? You could say it's ugly, but when it's like, you know, when it's like weaving in and out how curtains do, it won't be like this. It'll, you know, it'll be like a curtain, right? It'll look prettier when it's done. I love sewing. I used to make costumes for Renaissance fairs and sell them on eBay before Etsy was a thing. I loved making corsets. I'd make corsets and matching like these armbands that would go on the sleeves of those bell sleeve peasant gowns. And I used to make the peasant gowns. I made my own gowns because I used to go to the Renaissance fairs. And then I'd go to the Renaissance fairs and see the real costumes that the really good people would make. I only have a centimeter left in this bottle. So this is the bottle of wine I lost. See, when you have brain atrophy, you lose bottles of wine and then you find them and it's like Christmas. Oh, I'm missing everybody's texting. What's wrong with, oh, you didn't see the video? The fabric I designed. I've never had a cat pass away, Shelby. Did you have to put the cat down? Or did it just die? That's sad. That's sad. And you know what's funny? My sister Cheryl's here. So Cheryl, I don't know if I told you this, but I asked Mom. We had cats. We always had cats. And I never remember any of them dying. Would they just disappear? Like, what happened to all those cats we had? I don't even know what happened to them. So the fabric I designed, Cheryl, I have a video on it. It came and it was completely wrong. The part of it, okay, the colors, it was like there were 3 different colors. It was a light blue background with the darker blue squares and the white squares. The darker blue squares didn't exist, as if it was out of ink. So it was just light blue with white squares. No, they didn't make cat stew. I know Zigzag. I remember the cat Zigzag, our first cat, escaped. And Mom said the old lady neighbor on the next block started taking care of it, and mom said it was a lonely old lady, and mom wanted her to have the cat. But all the other cats, I have no idea what happened. Yes, donuts. Donuts are awesome. So that's perfect. Donuts. My donut curtains. So anyway, and then I made an error. If you watch the video, I had to edit part of the video out because I made a mistake. When I first made the video, I said that the pattern wasn't the scale it was supposed to be. The ruler on the fabric designer, it had, you know, lines like a ruler and then a number. Lines like a ruler and then a number. When there's a 1 inch, lines and a 2, lines and a 3. And in the corner it said inches. My cat's going crazy. So I thought it was 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. I didn't look good enough. It said the first number was a 6, number was a 12. So there were lines, but then the number was 6 inches. So that first section I thought was 1 inch and it was 6 inches. So I had 2 squares in a 6 inch space, and I thought that was a 1 inch space. So I thought my fabric was going to have 2 squares for each inch. So I thought it was going to be nice little squares, like little squares. But when the fabric came, it was big, giant, 2 inch squares, like big, giant squares. I'm like, oh my God, why are these squares so big? What happened to my hand? A box cutter happened to my hand. And then I had a fire in the front yard. Did you see the video? Did I send the video to your phone, Cheryl? Ain't nobody got time for all the videos? I got time for all the videos. Shelby has time for all the videos, right, Shelby? Videos, donuts, cats, wine, and fire. That's what it's all about. Yeah, so I was using a box cutter to cut plastic that was surrounding it. I got an order from Home Depot of blocks, and it was shrink wrapped, and I was cutting the plastic, and then you're supposed to cut away from your body. And then when you're done using the blade, you're supposed to retract the blade. And I didn't. And I cut my hand. And I'm on blood thinners. And my blood's very thin right now. As I told you earlier, I'm 4.2 right now. So it was just bleeding. But I think it stopped. I could probably take the Band-Aid off. Yeah. But it was pretty deep. You see it? But it's not bleeding anymore. So I have to pay Brent to watch my videos. He's not allowed to watch my videos. He would have watched the video of my yard on fire. Did you show him that video? I should post that one. I'll post that. I want to make a video of all my catastrophes put into one. Like all my first year newbie catastrophes. I love donuts too, Shelby. And you know why? I blame it on my dad. My dad used to, every Sunday was Dodo Day. 22 years old? That's crazy. That's a long life for a cat. Cheryl, how old was Eddie on? My sister Cheryl's on, Shelby, and they had a cat named Eddie on. How old? He just passed away. How old was Eddie on? Mrs. Cat Jones is going to live to be 22. She's going to outlive me. 22 is a long life for a cat. Aren't they usually 13, 14 years? That's a long time. I didn't forget about Zigzag. Oh, so I was talking about my dad and the donuts. So every Sunday when he came home from work, he would stop at the bakery. It was called Golden Crust, and he would get a dozen donuts. He would get 6 Boston cream donuts and either 6 glazed or 6 cinnamon twists, or maybe 4 glazed and 2 cinnamon twists. And we had 5 people in our family. We were each allowed to have 2 donuts. So I ask you this, who got the 2 extra ones? Probably my dad. So now, like, I'm addicted to donuts. I'm addicted to donuts. And I have a gluten intolerance issue. I wonder if that was from the donuts. But, you know, I haven't had a donut in a very long time. But when I go to New York, I get donuts. When was the last time I had a donut? I think I've replaced my donut fetish with Little Debbie Nutty Buddy bars and cookies. It's hard working at a school because students bring in cupcakes, and PTA gives you cookies and brownies and all kinds of things. I was out having a fire and it was windy. I got to get my brush. My hair is all knotty. So besides the curtain, this is my next task. Ow, my hair is a mess. Do you guys see this forward or backwards? This number 2. When my mom, we're all orphans now because our last parent passed away. So as my sister said, we're orphans. And by the way, Cheryl, I texted Tootie today at lunchtime. I went to Wendy's and I said, so I'm at Wendy's and this is when I go through a drive-through and I sit in the parking lot and eat. This is normally when I call my mom. So like Cheryl said, now that we're orphans, I'm going to bug you instead because you're my godmother. I don't think she texted me back. But anyway, so my parents passed away and we're getting ready to sell their house. And I went through my dad's tool closet and I found this. And I wanted to have this because this was our house number. Cheryl, do you have the painting of our house I did? And did I put a 2 on the door? I'm wondering if I put a 2 on the door in the painting. I hope I did. I hope I did. I should have. That was important. But anyway, they had this in the tool closet, and I don't know if they got this because they wanted to put it on or because they weren't sure and it was an extra one because they weren't sure what kind they wanted. But I decided that I wanted to put this on my trailer door. However, the trailer door, it's plastic. Is the outside trailer door plastic? Let me check this out. Give me a second, people. Oh, no, it's metal. No, it's metal. It's metal. The inside of the door is plastic. The outside's metal. So the holes are very teeny tiny, like pinholes, but I can't use the nails. So I'm going to have to use sheet metal screws, and I might have to use my drill press to make the holes a little bigger, or maybe sheet metal screws will bite through those holes. Cheryl, can you ask Brent? Do I have to pay Brent to ask that question? Who will be a great old lady? My kitty cat? I love cats. I just love cats and their little pink noses. That's the best video. That's the best video on YouTube right there. So Shelby, I'm sorry. I asked you, but I didn't see an answer. Did you have to put her down or did you just wake up and she had passed? Because that's a tough decision. Krispy Kreme, yes. I never heard of Krispy Kreme until I moved to New Jersey. And there was a Krispy Kreme right in Brick, right in the neighborhood I lived in, and they would have a hot bin. And the donuts that were just cooked would go, the hot sign would be on with those or something. And you'd watch them bake them. You'd watch them being baked or dipped or whatever I think they were, I don't even remember. I just wanted to eat them. I cleaned my camper today and I got this, I went on a date on, was it Match.com? And the guy didn't work out, but one thing I got out of it, this was like last summer, one thing I got out of it, and I'm so glad, is he told me about lavender Lysol floor cleaner. And it's the best. And I love the smell. So there's a reason for everything. And the reason I met that guy on Match.com was because now I have a new floor cleaner and it's the best. And I'm actually still friends with him. He's a photographer. And I'm glad I'm still friends with him. He's an engineer and we talk about, like, I invented something and he's always thinking about things that he's like has ideas and he's an artist and he's just a really cool person. I'm glad I met him. I actually texted him today when I was starting my front yard on fire because our first date was we went out to dinner by me and then we had a fire out in front at my house and I said, "Oh, I'm having a fire," like when our first date, because we're still friends. But I haven't seen him since. When's the last time I saw him? He bought one of my drawings on Etsy and I delivered it, but he wasn't home. I put it between his doors. When did I see him? Oh, October. He shot a wedding with me. He wanted to go to a wedding with me to see what it was like to shoot a wedding. So he shot a wedding with me. I like making new friends. You know, it's cool to have friends and do things. I got to do more things on Meetup. I want to join a caravan. There's people in RVs that caravan together. I have to do that. I want to be in a tribe, you know, and be with other people that are doing the same thing as I am. You guys aren't talking. You're just listening to me yap. Am I that entertaining that you're just watching me and not speaking? I think I'm going to make my curtains tomorrow. I have one long window. It's hard to pour wine with your left hand. I have one. Can I move my computer and you can see? I have this long window, and that's the back of my camper. And I actually thought about putting the curtain rod along the whole entire wall to make it look like one long window, like to make the curtains extend past the window. I think that would be neat. Like that would give the illusion of a big back window. But the only issue with that is the curtain rod would have to go higher I think the curtain rod would have to go higher than the 2 side windows. Would that be a big deal? Plus it curves. So because it curves, the curtain rod would be out, and I think it would come out further than where the dinette bench is. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'll have to figure it out in the morning because I want to make these curtains. Are you guys here? Are you typing? I'm not seeing any new types since Shelby's, yes, very old and sick. I just typed hi again. Fried. Shelby says fried. What's fried? Donuts are fried? I have 4 people. Nobody's typing. My son's girlfriend was supposed to be making... Oh, dinner's ready in 5 minutes. 10 minutes ago. I guess I gotta go to dinner. Hey, go dog, go! You're just dropping in, I'm just pulling out. My son's girlfriend is just made dinner. I'm just about to end the chat, but you can watch it to see my drama. I had a fire in my front yard. What else did I talk about? My cardiologist wrote me out for permanent disability. Yeah, I didn't see any curtains I liked, and I like to make my own curtains. I know. I didn't see any I liked, and I wanted a retro look. So go dog go. What's your real name? Go dog go. What's your real name? Yes. There are nice people. Some Gary. Hi Gary. My first husband's name was Gary. You know, sometimes Match.com isn't, you know, sometimes you meet people and you just end up being friends with them. You know, you don't click as partners, but we clicked. We clicked good, and it's just a great friend. We have a lot in common, and it's not a romantic thing, but we're both photographers, we're both artists, we're both inventors, and we really enjoy talking and discussing things, but not on a romantic level at all. Homework. What, Match.com is too much homework? I'm just so over the dating thing. And now with all my health issues, like I just don't feel like getting involved with someone. I just want to focus on my family and my life, you know? So this is the fabric I got, Gary. This is going to be my side curtain, the sides, and it'll look prettier when it's like looks like this for curtains. It won't be so flat. And then in between this, I'm going to have this. I know it's hard to picture, but when it's all up, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. All right, I got to get my shoes on and go in for dinner. I can't put my slippers on because I had a huge fire in my front yard that I attempted to put out with the hose. So now I have a big swamp in my front yard. So my slippers will get wet. So I have to put my trail shoes on to go in my son's house and have dinner with them. My son's girlfriend is finally huge. She's showing. She's finally showing. She only has a month left. Cheryl, she's like you. She has a month left, and her belly looks like I did at 5 months pregnant. At 5 months, I looked like I was 9 months with triplets in me. Like, I was just huge. I was so huge. And my sisters didn't have anything. And I was like, why did I get so huge? But I didn't mind being big. Curtain rods out of oak branches. Very pretty. Ooh. That sounds pretty. Can you take a picture of those and leave it as a comment for me? I don't know if you can leave comments in Facebook in, YouTube comments. Can you leave pictures? Am I making sense? Did I have too much wine? I like woodworking too. I'm gonna miss all my tools in the garage. I have a drill press. I used my chop saw today. I've made bird feeders. I loved finding furniture and fixing it, whatever it needed to bring it back to restore it, like antique furniture. I miss woodworking. I went to school for fine art and I took 3D design and we had to make a piece of furniture and we also did woodworking and we had to do different joints and the professor said I must have been a carpenter in a previous life because my joints didn't need any glue. They just fit together perfect. And I just love the smell of sawdust. My dad, any repairs he did on the house, and he didn't have any power tools, so he would use a hand saw. We would sit on the wood to hold it still while he used a hand saw. And just the smell of sawdust reminds me of childhood. And I just love woodworking. I got a drill press so I could make like cribbage boards. Look up cribbage. It's a card game if you don't know what it is. Yeah, go dog go. My email is roamingartworks@gmail.com. That's my email address. Bye, Shelby. All right, I'm gonna go inside and eat some um meatloaf. Meatloaf and potatoes. Potatoes. All right, thanks for joining me for the live video, everybody. I'm glad people came in even though I didn't announce it. It's good to talk to everybody. Gary, send me a picture of you too so I know who I'm talking to. All right, bye. Good night, everybody.